So do you ever wonder what model should I be using when I'm using ChatGPT? I mean, after all, there's ChatGPT 4.0, there's 4.0 mini, there's 4.01 preview, there's 0.1 mini, there's 4.0 with Canvas. Oh my gosh, what do I choose? Well, this video will walk you through the models and show you which one does which and which you should be using as you're using ChatGPT.
So let's start by taking a look at ChatGPT and the models that are available here. You'll notice up here in the upper left-hand corner, we have the ability to go ahead and choose which models we want. We can go ahead and click on this, and we've got ChatGPT 4.0, we've got ChatGPT 4.0 with Canvas, and we've got 0.1 Preview and 0.1 Mini. Now, in addition to that, there's some other models down here that we can choose, GPT 4.0 Mini and GPT 4. So which ones do we use? Well, by default, if you've got a paid subscription, you're going to be over here in GPT 4.0, and that's a great place to be. It's going to give you everything you need. One of the real benefits of GPT 4.0 is that we get the ability to upload files by clicking on the paperclip. That means we could upload a PDF, a spreadsheet, a document, anything like that that we wanted it to analyze. And we can also use GPT's new search feature, allowing you to search the web by clicking on the globe. And what that means is that as we do our queries, we can actually give it websites or ask it to do search and research for us, and it'll actually go out online and do that. So that is unique to GPT 4.0. Let's go ahead and take a look at the other model. So the other one is Canvas, and it's GPT 4.0 with Canvas. You'll notice now our search feature is grayed out. If we highlight over that, that's unavailable. We can still add files, and that's great. And where Canvas is great is if you're creating documents and you want to do things live. We'll do a whole walkthrough on Canvas and how it works, but it basically creates a live document, does a split screen, and lets you edit that live with AI. So it works great. Then we have our 0.1 Preview model. This is a brand new model. It definitely has more reasoning. It is going to think longer. This is good if you've got a lot of maybe logic or processes that need to be followed. This is a great model to use. The downside is I can't upload documents, nor can I do web search with that model currently. You're also limited on the number of uses that you get. While there's essentially a limit on all of them, the limit's a lot lower here on 0.1 Preview. And then we've got 0.1 Mini as well. And 0.1 Mini is a great thing for pretty much everyday tasks. Especially if you're running out of usage on any of the other models, go over the 0.1 Mini. It'll get you access to what you need, and it'll still do a great job for most things. Again, downside is we can't use the paperclip and we can't use the search. Again, under more models, we've got the GPT 4.0 Mini. Got to redo this part. Go back to the 0.1 Mini. Then we've got GPT 0.1 Mini. It's very similar to the preview model, but it's a lighter weight version. Again, more usage, but you're going to have some limitations. It's great to experiment with. Again, it's going to be faster, but still have some advanced AI reasoning. And then the other model that you may want to consider is GPT 4.0 Mini. This is the model that you're going to get defaulted to if you run out of use everywhere else. And it's a great model, but it's not as intense. And so I use this for more simple tasks, maybe menial tasks even, that don't require a lot of logic. As a general rule, though, if you're using this, you're going to be on GPT 4.0. It's going to give you the greatest all-around capabilities. You may run into the other models a little bit more if you're using some of the aggregators or other things like that. But for ChatGPT, those are the models as they sit here in December of 2024. And hopefully that little walkthrough helps you pick the one that's best for you. So since I talked about the aggregator models, I just thought I'd show you just a moment. What does that look like from a cost perspective when we're using the different GPT models that are out there? So I'm in Magi at the moment. It's one of the 3 or 4 aggregators that I really do recommend. By the way, the others are Rubi.Ai and another one called TypingMind, which works a bit differently, but is one of my favorites. If you're in Magi and you're using this, the way almost all the aggregators work is that you buy a number of credits every month, and you can use those credits any way that you want. But the different models you choose cost more, so to speak. So you get a big bucket of credits, but you use the bucket faster if you use the different models. So here's how it works with GPT. So their original model, GPT 3.5, you can see has a very small context window, only 4,000. That means you can't put as much data into it. It's also very inexpensive. It's only 1/10 of a credit. In other words, you're going to use things 10 times slower. Not that it'll be slower, but you're going to use 10 times less things out of the bucket, so to speak. Then we've got GPT 4, which is the current model. It's got a 128,000 model, and it's got a multiplier of 1. So for Very similar, if you've watched our Claude model video, it's very similar to Claude 3.5 Sonnet. It's got a multiplier of 1. It's going to cost you basically 1 credit every time you use it. Credits may be slightly off, but it's a multiplier. Then we've got GPT-4o Mini, a great model, and what I would recommend over 3.5 for 2 reasons. One, notice its context window is 128,000 characters as opposed to 4, and it's 1/10, so it's the same cost. So this is my go-to model when I've got relatively simple tasks that I need to get done. And then you can also use the voice GPT here in Magi, and that uses credits too. Now again, if you're using ChatGPT, these are all included. You're not paying extra or less, but they will impact how much usage you get. So if you're using GPT-4o Mini, you're going to get more usage than if you're using the 4o. We've also got the other models in the O1 model. So let's go take a look at those real quick. We've got 2 O1 models. We've got the O1 preview model, and notice that O1 preview is 3x. In other words, that's like Claude 3 Opus. Great, lots of reasoning, lots of power. It's that big beefy V8 engine. But we don't need that all the time, and we probably shouldn't because it's going to drink 3 times as many credits as we use it. And then we've got O1 Mini. And again, it's O1 Mini is going to have the same cost as using 4o. As a general rule, I prefer 4o over O1 Mini, but it gives you options and you can see how that may factor in. And again, even on ChatGPT, that's going to factor your total amount of usage. So I hope this diagram helps make sense of that if you're using it either on ChatGPT or in one of the aggregators.
I hope that walkthrough makes sense and helps you see the difference between the models. It's very simple if you're using ChatGPT. By default, you're going to default to the 4o model, and that does provide you the greatest overall functionality. Where you may need to spend a little bit more time thinking about it is if you're using any of the AI aggregator models, things like Ruby and Magi and Poe, where you get to pick different models that you're using. In those cases, it's important to understand because different models have different costs, and in the aggregator models, that means either you're paying through like Typing Mind, where you'd be paying for that as you use it, or in most of the aggregator models, they're based on credits, and then you're going to be using more credits if you use the wrong search. You get a certain number of credits each month, and when you use tools like the 4o Mini, you're going to use the least amount of tokens or credits because it's the least expensive model. And if you use like the O1 preview, you're going to use the most because it's the most expensive. The great news is those aggregator models will make sense of that if you're using them. And if you're just using ChatGPT, you don't need to worry about it. Use 4o whenever you can, or potentially 4o Canvas if you're writing content and want to have a collaborative work environment. Hope this makes sense. I'd love to see your questions down below. Talk to you soon.